Hey, welcome back to the Furality Sylva interview series. I'm Stitcharoo. I've got Rue here with me, and we're gonna do the deep dive. Hey, Rue, what's your hardware software like?
Well, for those who are curious about that kind of stuff, I play on a DDJ FLX10, which we picked up. Wonderful machine. And it goes out to my Vault 276 input straight into the PC. And I use Rekordbox to do what I do.
What's the Vault 10? Is that a audio interface?
The Vault 276 is an audio interface. Yeah, it uses one of the old 276 compressors from the old master boards. It has a nice but subtle color to the sound with the compressor and the other stuff. And I think it adds just a little enhancement. Definitely worth it for me. Definitely worth it. I think it helped a little bit.
The FLX10, that's like the newest in the FLX series, isn't it? How do you like it?
Honestly, I played on a DDJ 800 for years and still loved it. But I saw a lot of the features that came out on the FLX10, especially the DMX lighting control and things that are worked into that for possible working the things in here. With that in the stem control, it really had me just sold on it.
Absolutely.
I have to admit, it's been a worthy purchase.
I haven't messed around much with the Rekordbox. Tell us a little more about the lighting control, because that's through the hardware but controlled by Rekordbox, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The reason I find it interesting is because you can program individual light routines and things directly by each track and slit that under the track and then build your playlist, build your light show track by track by track by each thing and have that automated as you go through in Rekordbox. And that's kind of fascinating to me because that means I can animate or do any things with individual avatars, worlds, and other things in here using those lighting controls pre-programmed. It seems like a really interesting concept to me, just kind of breaking into it with people who are a lot smarter than me. They can help me with it.
You hear that, Raps? And we're coming for your job. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, what? No. Wait a minute, hold on. What are you roping me into here?
Moving on to our next question. What was your inspiration for becoming a DJ?
I'm classically trained and I've been music production for years, but DJing I didn't do until more recently. When I came to an application called Wave XR about 5 years ago, I saw the people doing it there, and you could create your own shows and your own venues, much like building a model. It was so easy to pull assets from Google Poly you had opened and scale them, size them, and build 30 different individual scenes that you could change through. And so I did that once, and people was like, you really should do this again, and I did it, and the funny thing was, I never intended to really DJ. It was like, I'll just play this music and start to learn DJing to do it for it, just as a small little thing. And then the next thing I knew, Grindcraft and the Wave XR company asked me to be a resident artist and DJ there, which was kind of really funny. It just kind of picked up, and then it really began the whole journey from there, you know?
Oh, that's killer. Do you still have some of those?
Wild ride.
Absolutely. Do you still have some of those, like, Wave Worlds still up and running? Is Wave still available?
Wave XR is an application closed down in 2021. They decided the VR application to pivot to broadcast only. And they fired all of us. So we all, instead of leaving and dispersing, formed a little art collective called Beat Syndicate. And this little family still works together on our own little projects and together to help each other out. But a lot of the assets that I did make back then and other people made, I preserved in a world here in VR chat called Trance. And it's a world with 108 pieces of psychedelic art and 3 different stages that you can use to host things or just kind of view some of the art that was made by hand in Tilt Brush, in VR. It's just kind of interesting, but
nice.
I definitely keep that alive and still continue to build venues and wild places for people to come in and enjoy that pure vibe.
Do you have, like, certain DJs that you look up to or mentors or people that helped you lift up?
100%. I mean, we all have that thing where we don't feel like we measure up. Like, the imposter syndrome is very strong early on, especially. And without having mentors around to encourage you and tell you, then you're not going to get past that in any length of time. Someone has to come along and tell you that, comparison is the thief of joy. And then my 2 mentors that did that were Scott Marshall, who's worked with me over in Wave. He's part of the UK rave scene going back 25 years. And Jason Daniels, a resident at Ultra. And when you're working with people like that, and you're like, I'm a nurse from Ohio, you really feel inadequate. But they were the ones who sat me down and said, stop it.
Oh no!
You're here because you're supposed to be. Now get out there and express, because it's not about it's about the journey. It's not about where you are on it. And that's the piece of advice I've passed on to as many people as I can, mentoring myself. Because I want to tell them the same thing. Like, it is not about the journey. We're heading to the same destination, but we're coming from different places. It's not comparable. No, enjoy the journey. And it really became helpful and allowed me to grow a lot more.
Very nice, very nice. And you kind of touched on the last question that we have, which is, I say it over and over, something at Furality that we hold super dear, which is like reaching out to the new wave, the new people looking to become DJs. Because there's been a lot of DJs that have just started like since the pandemic and really got their touch in VR and stuff like that. So do you have more advice that you could give those people looking to start DJing?
Yeah, don't be afraid to. My life has turned upside down since I found this passion in this profession. It's really what it is. And, I'm a nurse from Ohio. Hey, I'm nobody. And if I can do this, anybody can. When you find a way to express like this, you'll find yourself so much more motivated and fulfillment. The second thing I would do is come see me, because I'm happy to mentor anybody and have several in here already.
That's fair.
All right? Period. Nobody should feel that, they can't approach either, because it's great to see that growth in people. It's great to see so many out there, because we're not in Baltimore where you can have only 34 DJs in the entire town. We're in VR. It's unlimited space, unlimited amounts, and there is such a broadening. Since when I came in here 4 years ago, it was nothing but house. Oh, you can't play trance. I'm like, oh yeah? Well, let's see if we can change that. Now we have everything. Literally everything, from the JP side, where there's folk music being played at some events, and literally you can find anything in here. And to me, that's not overcrowding, that's beautiful. Because now even your little niche you can find and vibe with those people. That's the whole point of all this.
Absolutely. And Club FYNN, like ever since the beginning, we really reach out to try and get as many different genres that we can. So we're not just house, we're not just like psytrance, but we have everything from metal to electro swing to trance to...
I love it. But not just that, but from everywhere. Sarami from Japan, people from Europe, people from the US, everywhere. That's the whole point. This gives us the ability to come together from all around the world. This is not possible anywhere else but right here. And that is the beauty of FYNN and other places like it, where it's not just one particular group, it's everybody from around the world coming together, and that is something special.
Oh,
really
absolutely. 100%. It really shows that if you put the elbow grease into it, anyone can do this. You just gotta sit down and do it.
Find your mentor.
Yeah.
Find the person to help you along a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you never know anything unless you ask. So it's really cool that our DJ community within the VR space is so open and welcoming.
It is.
Very, very awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rue. Your answers were absolutely fantastic. No. Such a pleasure to be talking with you. That's kind of it for the Furality Sylva interview. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you again so much, Rue. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.